Namaste, my name is Deepshikha and I came to Denmark in 2007. I was full of apprehension when I came. I didn't know how the country is going to be. How will I learn the language? How will I get the job? A lot of questions in my mind. But when I came here, it was very different. I felt that I've come to the right place. I've come to a place which is very, very welcoming. And obviously, learning language was a challenge, but I really wanted to do it. And I cannot rate myself right now about Danish, but I can understand a lot of it, and I do speak too. Regarding my life here, as when I started, it was quite difficult in the beginning because I came in October, and it was very cold and dark, and straight from India, so which was warm and full of light. So it was a complete contrast. But after I started working, I started enjoying my life here because Denmark has this work-life balance. And I could enjoy some time with my child and also with my family. We used to go out and everything was going great. But I was missing my passion, a passion that I always wanted to get back to. But I didn't know if Denmark had that opportunity. I'm a trained Indian classical dancer. And I love my passion. So in the year 2010, I can say a miracle happened. I got an opportunity to perform with the growing number of Indians here, and that's when I started my journey with my passion again, and started performing. And now, after 19 years, it's more than 500 performances. So it feels great, and I do it every weekend sometimes. So it's great. But today I'm here to share another part of my journey, and that story is a very, very real story. So in 2014, we moved to an apartment. So we've been living in different parts of Copenhagen, and in 2014, we moved to a place in Rubakken. And it was around April or March, we moved there. And then just after we moved, like a couple of days later, there was a knock at the door. And when I opened the door, there was this man on a wheelchair, and he just told me, "Can I come inside?" And at that time, when he came inside with the wheelchair, I just felt that there is some connection with this person which is beyond this life, for sure. Because the warmth that he had in his voice and the love that he had for my child, as soon as he came inside, he said, "Can I play with your child?" And I was like, oh, wow. Staying away from family, it just felt like a family member had come to our house. He was our neighbor, Yon. And he started spending a lot of time with us, as if he's our family member. He started eating the same food as we do. We are vegetarians, and he used to love Indian food. And slowly, there was a kind of very true friendship developing between us as a family and Yon. He knew my passion for dancing, and he also knew that I was struggling for a place to practice. So he would arrange something in the building for me where I could practice. He could see that how much I needed it. And he would help me to make posters for my dances, to promote, to find out more opportunities. Also, he would, encourage me to write in Danish. He helped me in building my website. So it was just like he became a part of my passion. And of course, he was my Danish mentor as well, because I wanted to learn Danish. I wanted to clear some exams. And he just said, oh, yeah, don't worry. I'm there for you and I'm going to help you. And it was just, like as if there is some angel in my life who's always there for me for everything I do. Yon was physically challenged. He had problems in each and every joint of his body, and it was very, very painful for him. But when he came to our house, it seemed as if he had forgotten the pain. He would play with my child. At that time, I had only one. So he would play with her, and he would spend a lot of time in our place. And I think Indian houses are like that. You don't need, you can just drop in. You don't need any appointment or any SMS. You would just drop in and eat whatever we have made. So it's a very, very typical Indian thing. And I started seeing, how passionate he was for everything I was doing. And then one day, it was like a routine thing for me to make some extra food always. I felt Yon was a family member, and I would always prepare extra. And I would go to his apartment, which was just next door, and give it to him. And one day when I went to give him the food, he just told me, Deepshikha, do you want to have more children? You have just one child. And I said, I haven't thought about it. Maybe it's very hard to have 2 children here without any help or support from family. And he just said, but you should have more children. And then I said, why? And then he said, because this world needs more people like you. And I was like, for a few seconds, I just took a pause, and I realized that this is the greatest compliment one can get. And no matter whatever else I do in my life and get appreciation for, there's nothing more touching than this compliment. And I didn't tell him, but we were thinking of having a second one. And just a month later, I came to know that I was expecting my second one after 10 years. So, and then he was so happy with the news. He became a part of that journey as well. He saw that how I could not eat anything during the first trimester. He would prepare some food for me. He would say that don't do anything. I'll take care of you. And he would do everything to make me feel comfortable. And, I remember he made some handmade bracelets for the just born, when I just delivered, he made some handmade bracelets just to pamper her. And when I also realized that he started playing the role of Yon uncle, after one was born. And I always addressed him as Yon uncle for Vani. Because he was the one who probably prayed for it, and he was a part of everything. And then one day he suggested to me, why don't we go to a church, take her to the church. Let's walk to the church, and there is some baby psalm sung. They sing to the newborn babies. So let's take her there. And we used to go for the next 2-3 months. We used to walk to the church and take her there together. And in that walk, he would always say, he would go in the wheelchair and I would go with the pram. And we would, just share some stories with each other. And then I told Yon one day that, the space in the apartment is very less, for us. And we might think of changing our house. We might have to move somewhere else. He was not that happy with the idea because he just felt that he wanted us to be close to him. Yeah. But, life has different chapters, and we decided to move, not that far away, but we decided to move to this place where we stay. And I still remember handing over the keys, and he was still there with me until the last day in that apartment. He said, I want to be here with you even when you're giving the keys back, because this apartment has given so many memories of friendship, of help, of so many things. I don't even have words. And then after we moved here, he would come anytime to visit. We would go pick him up, and he would come to visit us. And then I could see that slowly his visits were declining. He would come just once a week or once in 10 days. And that's when I started feeling that something was not going the right way. And he would randomly call and he would say that I'm depressed and, can I just come? And when I would go to pick him up, he would just say, no, not now. So I couldn't understand what was going on in his mind. And then in 2019, December, maybe November, I told Yon that, I'm going to India for my brother's wedding and I won't be here for like a month or so. Do you need something from India? So this was a very common thing we had. Every time I traveled to India, I would always ask him, what do you want from India? And he would come up with his shopping list of friendship bands. He was somehow very fascinated with the different kinds of bands that we tie around the wrist. And I would always get some very beautiful ones for him every year. Indian tea, Indian spices, and these friendship bands. So he told me that, I would like to have some friendship bands this time too. And I said, it's my brother's wedding and there will be lots and I'm going to choose the most beautiful ones for you. And it was going great. And then one evening, he just rang both of us together and he just said that, I want to come home to your place and live here. And I said, you can live here, no problem. But what happened? And he just said that, no, I'm scared. And then we went to pick him up. He came to our place. He was living, that night he slept here. And he just told me that I don't want to go back. I said, okay, you can be here till the time you want to be. And that's not a problem at all. And then he just said next morning, I think I'm feeling better and I want to leave now. And I said, okay, fine, you can leave. I want to pack some food for you. And then he said to me, Deepshikha, can I give you a hug? And he knew it very well that I'm not very comfortable. It's a very cultural thing. And he said to me, I know that you don't want to do this, but I really need it. And I said, no, it's okay, no problem. I'll give you a hug. And I hugged him. And then he just left. And that was the last time I saw Yon. And and then I went to India. And then it was like, he was trying to message me on one of the days. I think it was 10th or 11th of December 2019. I got a message from him, I want to talk to you. And there was one more thing. Before I left for India, I told him that, why don't you come and stay in our house? Why do you want to live in the apartment? It was a very common thing we used to do every time we went to India. We would just tell Yon, come and stay in our house, and he would love to do that. And he came in that holiday too, that he came to live in our house. And he just was messaging me and I just said, do you need something? Do you need the Wi-Fi? Do you need something? And he said, no, I want to talk to you. And I said, I'm busy. I'm busy with my brother's marriage and I can't take your call right now, but if you write it, I'm going to respond to you. And he didn't reply. And I just felt maybe he wanted some more things from India. I just felt like that. It was 12th of December when I got the last message from him. I want to talk to you. And I just said, oh, connection is very poor. I can't talk. And then on 12th December 2019 at 11:30, just before sleeping, I checked my phone. And there was a message from an unknown sender in Facebook. And he just wrote to me, hi. And it was in Danish. He just wrote to me, hi, I'm Yon's brother. Since you are a very dear friend of Yon, you must know that he's no more. he has decided to end his life. And it was written in Danish, hendes, følger. And I read it, and I just broke down. I could not believe my eyes, and I called up my husband and I told him that I got this message. He just said to me, you have not read probably the Danish correctly. And I told him, I learned Danish from him. I can't be wrong. And I was in India. And it's just a coincidence that same morning I told my mom, I want the most beautiful friendship band for my friend Yoon. That morning, and Mom said, yeah, sure, I'll find some good ones for you. And I had those friendship bands in my hand. And I was just looking at the sky. I said, why did you do that? I was just going to come back. I was going to come back in 10 days. But, I always feel that, life is like a drama, and we all have our paths, and all have entry and exit. Some characters exit earlier, and Yoon played his part really well of a very, very, very good friend, a true friendship, a friendship that was completely unconditional and was always giving, who always thought good for me. But obviously, I was not that strong at that moment to take it. And it took me like quite some time to get over it. I couldn't eat, I couldn't do anything. And then I get a message from Yoon's mother on email that Yoon's funeral is on 24th of December, and I want you to come because you were his best friend. And I tell her that my tickets are already booked. I'm coming on 1st January. I cannot do anything about my tickets. And she said, then you're going to miss the funeral. And I had never met her before. And I felt like I couldn't even say bye to him. I felt really, really helpless. And then, obviously, I was still continuing in that phase of being, completely shattered. And then 3 days later, I get another message from his mom that there is some police investigation, and so the funeral has been postponed to 2nd of January. I couldn't believe that email, that Yoon waited for me. He knew I could not come before 1st January. And he knew that as soon as I land in Copenhagen, I would go to Lolland and attend his funeral. And that's exactly what I did. I came back. And because Yoon was staying in our house for the last 10 days of his life, I picked up each and every bit of peace that he had left behind. His passport, his medicines, his clothes, his food. And as I was picking and putting it in the bag, it was like winding up a lot of memories and putting them in the bag. All the memories that were for years, we had so many good memories with each other. And I was just putting everything back. And then I found a letter on the dining table. And he just wrote that I'm very sorry that I had to take this step. I couldn't bear it anymore. And there were small notes here and there in the house telling me how I could improve, how I could do different things with the house, his suggestions. And that note that he's very thankful for all the memories that we as a family shared with him. And then I went with all those things to Lolland to attend his funeral. I became a part of the family there, cried with them, and said to his mom, I gave those friendship bands that I had in my hand, and I gave it to his mom, and I said, this belongs to him. So please put it on his grave. And those friendship bands are still there. After Yoon passed away, and I came back to Denmark, and after attending his funeral, there was this phase where I thought that probably I could have avoided it. I could have been here. I wish I was here. And if when he was trying to reach out to me, if I would have really picked up his call, if I would have just talked to him for 2 minutes, there were so many things coming in my mind and kind of holding myself responsible for not attending to him when he really needed it. And I was just sharing this with my daughter, Vidushi, and I told her everything that I was feeling, and she just told to me that, Mom, if 7 years back you did not come in his life, if you were not his neighbor, if you did not open the doors of our house to a stranger, what would he have done? You should think this would have happened much earlier. You should think you've added 7 more years to his life. And that was like, I felt that it was like ice on my scar. That yeah, probably I'm not responsible and that it had to happen one day. But the next part of the journey was harder because when I came back, I was completely empty inside. And I didn't know what to do with my life at that point because somehow it affected me to an extent that I couldn't even take care of myself. And I wanted relief. I wanted to come out of it, but I had no way to do it. I would just live each day, but thinking about him. And then I prayed to him that I want to come out of it. I have 2 small children, and obviously I need to take care of my family. I know that you did it for a reason. And I somehow had some conversation with him, in my mind. And then one day, when I was just closing my eyes and taking rest, somehow in my phone, I was just fiddling with my phone. I was looking for something to listen, a good music to listen. And I find this piece of meditation. And when I did this meditation, it completely gave me all the peace that I was looking for and a lot of answers. I read more about it, and it was Brahma Kumari's. And I said, what is this? I wanted to read more about it. What is Brahma Kumari's? What is this meditation that's so powerful? And then I went, I explored about it, and I saw that there is a center here. There's a place where you can go and meditate. And I felt as if there was this force with me telling me to go there. The force that guided me to this place. And I remember going and visiting the place just a few days later than when it happened, when I came across this meditation. And I went there and I just felt that I've come to the right place. And this is how my spiritual journey started. That someone very, very dear held my finger and took me to the right place where I would get the peace, where I would get all the answers to why things happen in life. And since then, since that day, it is a very, very important part of my life. I do meditation every day. I pray for you every day. And this has become a part of me now. This has changed me as a person. And I'm not what I was 3 years back at all. I am someone very different. Someone who is strong, someone who knows that everything is a part of a drama. Everything that comes will pass by. And it has healed me completely, I would say. Of course, when I see his photo and his videos, I do remember him. But at that time, there's only peace and only good wishes that radiate towards him and nothing else. So, this is what I wanted to share. It's a real story of true friendship that is beyond life. This whole experience has definitely changed me as a person. My life is very different, and I think I take life very differently now. There is something I probably am carrying on that legacy that he left behind, that he held my hand and showed me the path, and I'm walking on that path right now, and it is giving me all the happiness. It's the gift, it's the best gift a friend could give before parting ways, to give a source that would give you permanent peace, permanent happiness. And that's what happens, with me every day. I am so happy to be in this path of being disciplined, of living a life that's only for service. It's like you give healing energy to the world. And he has shown me this path, that don't just live life for yourself. Go beyond. And it is not necessary that you have to give something which is materialistic. You can also give blessings. And today, my friend, has given me this gift to continue his legacy of living life and blessing others. And it has become a part of me. And this is how my life is going to be till I live. That, this is a gift that no one can take away from me. So I cannot be more blessed that I have support from the family, and I had a friend like Yon. Our journey was short, but it was very impactful. And I look up to him. And I feel his presence still around me. I can feel it, that he's still guiding me to keep walking without feeling tired. And I want to share this story with everyone, simply because you opening your doors, you giving your affection to someone, can make such a big difference in someone's life. What is more important than life itself? And how valuable is your time? You can give your time to your near and dear ones. But what about those people who don't have near and dear ones, who still need it? Why not share it with everyone? And I wanted to take this step. I want to share the story with everybody. Just to tell how a little step can make a big difference in someone's life. It happened with me. But it can happen with someone else too.